Alright, so we're going to set up a cal for a 45-degree shear wave angle beam transducer. And let's go ahead and hook up our 45 degree. There we go. And we can flip our machine on. Alright, so let's look at our menu here. We're on our basic menu. We can go ahead and put the 0 back to 0 for a starting point. And we're going to want a 1.414 inch screen range. Delay we could leave at 0. Velocity, we have an initial default velocity for shear wave. And we'll tune that in from there. Let's reduce our gain a little bit. Alright, basic, pulsar. This is a 5 megahertz transducer. We'll use the square wave pulsar, pulse echo, so we have a single cable. It's a low frequency, so we can put our voltage all the way up. And then for a receiver, let's see, for filters, five megahertz is about halfway between 1.5 and 8.5. So we'll use the 5 meg filter there, 1.5 to 8.5. Trig, well, we got a 45. So we'll tell it we have a 45. X value is this distance from the front of the search unit to the index point, and we'll say that's about 250 thousandths. Oops, put that in the wrong place. That's for X value. That's just to get ourselves started. And in the reading boxes up here, let's go ahead and look at that. In the display menu, in the measure setup, in the reading setup, let's go ahead and have that set up as sound path, surface distance minus X value, and depth. Alright, so let's see if we can find those. Yeah, gate 1, sound path distance, okay. Gate 1, surface distance minus X value, and the big one for depth, gate 1 depth to reflector. Alright. Alright, so we can go ahead and start our calibrating. And as with most of our calibration, we're going to have a short distance and a long distance. We'll use 0 on the short distance and velocity on the long distance. So the short distance, we're going to go to the 150 notch, which is right here. Peek up on that signal at the end of leg 1. That's a lot of gain. Now we have that signal peaked up. That gate starts a little bit long. I'm going to go to my gate menu and increase my start a little bit. There we go. So I know that's 3/10 deep, not 5/10. So I'm going to use 0 to bring that in to where it's supposed to be. pretty close. All right, so I'm going to pull back and look at that same reflector, but at the end of the third leg. And now I want that to be 900 deep, and I'm going to bring that in using velocity. So I think we're there already. Let's go in and look at the end of leg 1. Yeah, it's just about perfect. Come on, leg 1 and leg 3. All right. So, because we adjusted the velocity slightly, Olympus product, I went in and changed the range a little bit. Go ahead and put that back to 1.414. That keeps us with our 1-inch deep screen. And we could also use a function for the first time here called peak memory. This can be kind of helpful. So when you're first doing this, you know, I'm going back and forth, and I'm also oscillating. That's the skewing motion. So I'm using a combination of those two motions to get that all filled in nice. Alright, so when I'm pointing right up into the peak of that signal, that tells me, okay, 907, that's not as nice as I want it to be. So I'm going to use velocity to bring that back to 9. Because I changed that, I should come back to my 0. Oscillating. Back and forth. Oscillating, back and forth. So I alternate between oscillation movements and back and forth movements to try and find that peak signal point. And now I call that pointing right up into the church steeple. And I'm going to adjust my 0 a little bit. Alright, let's go back to the 9. When I say 9, I mean that at the end of the third leg, the corner trap signal from that notch is going to be 900 deep. Because in the third leg I will have gone all the way down 300, back up 300, and back down 300. 300 plus 300 plus 300 is 900. Alright, velocity. Go back in for the 300 deep, the short distance. So don't forget to oscillate. So I think I've got it. So I'm going to call that it. Can I freeze and fix the range? Yeah. All right. Alright, so I'm going to call that good. And go ahead and save that as a 45-degree cal. Yeah, so let's go into the File menu. I'm going to create a file. It's going to be a cal file. I'm going to call it 45. Insert 45. This is tuned in for all my stuff, so I'm going to append it with my initials. And that's it. I'm going to create and save. Save current settings, yes. Alright, so I'm going to call that good. I've got a 45 degree. Alright, thanks a lot.